So I noticed that you do some Wim Hof cold water work, and so I run a network called the Articulate Ventures Network. And a few weeks ago, somebody said, "Hey, we ought to do a month of everybody in the network take cold showers." And immediately I was like, "Oh hell no, I do not want to do this." I've done it before when I last summer, and I was like, I've learned everything I needed to learn, but I started doing it again, and I wanted to hear from somebody that has not been clouded by my way of thinking. Why do you do it? And what happens when you first embrace and step into cold water?
I enjoy doing things that challenge me mentally. And for me, the effects physically are great. It feels like having about 10 cups of coffees at once for about half an hour afterward. I enjoy the clarity of thought that it gives me, and I enjoy the fact that I've done something hard first thing in the morning. But what's more important than that to me is the moment just before you get into the water, because I feel like there is so much that we have to learn from adversity, which is cliche to say now, right? That in a time where there's hyper convenience and you can Deliveroo or Uber Eats a Michelin star meal to your couch while you watch Amazon Prime shit, this is a counter to that. But more than that, it teaches you that so many of the programmed responses your body has aren't to be feared. A lot of the things that we get anxious about that meeting I've got at work tomorrow in the same way as if there was a cheetah 500 yards away from us on the plains, but they are not the same thing. You will be fine. Even if you get fired, you're still going to be fine. And the more that we can expose ourselves to these things, voluntarily expose ourselves to these things of discomfort, I think there's so much wisdom to be gleaned from that. So I enjoy the way it makes me feel, but more than that, I enjoy the place it forces me to go mentally before I do it. Tell me your justification.
Well, so, one thing I think is everybody that does it has to have a reason. So you're right. You turn that knob all the way to cold, and then you step into it. And my belief is there has to be something that is more powerful than the voice of resistance telling you, you don't have to do this, you're fine, take a step back, it's no big deal. But then once you do it, and you have control over it, I kind of think of it as riding over a bucking bronco. It's a little bit like being in a rodeo, because there's so many times in our lives when we give in to our will that wants us to just stop or not even start, or I don't know how to try. And so for me, being able to be I know every other part of me except for whatever, my daemon or something wants to get out of here. And the fact that I'm able to stay here is just like riding a bull or something. And then as soon as I am done with my 60 seconds or 100 seconds, one of the new things that I've added in is, instead of stepping out of the water and then turning it up and then having the warm part of the shower at the end, I just turn the water back up just a little bit warmer, and it feels so much more comfortable. So to your point, I've just taken the set point, which was probably, 3/4 warm, 1/4 cold, and now made it 3/4 cold and 1/4 cold, or 1/4 warm. And that means I am at a different place with myself psychologically. And so I think these are the weird things that you can get by choosing completely benign ways of suffering for small amounts of time.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to put it, man. I mean, why do people flock to CrossFit and spinning and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I know it's a technically beautiful art, but if you actually do it, it's savage. You're knackered, you want to throw up, you're tired, you're sweating, you've got another person stopping you from breathing, and you just keep giving it everything so that you hopefully don't get strangled, right? But people do these things because it reminds them, I think it reminds us that we're human. There's not many extreme things left to do. The people that are listening, a good thought experiment for this is, when was the last time that you were genuinely scared? Absolutely terrified, afraid? I can't remember for me. Years, perhaps. And it's very infrequent. We don't do things that cause us to get into extreme levels of discomfort. And most of the things that we do choose to do, this is a total another rabbit hole. I think there's another level of learning to be gleaned from unchosen adversity. So, perfect example of this is I ruptured my Achilles playing cricket last year, which is the most British way that you could rupture an Achilles. And I did that, and I learned more in the month and a half after my Achilles repair and during my Achilles repair operation than I've learned in 3.5 years of cricket in cold showers, because I didn't choose it. Even though you've stepped into the shower, you know you chose to do it. You got yourself to that place, right? But for almost all of human history, our adversities have been bestowed on us, not chosen by us. What does that mean? That means that I am in the fire. I'm in the crucible of whatever the hell is going on. And I didn't choose to be here, but I still need to find a way to make it work. And yeah, I learned so much from that. And it was beautiful in a way that you will get something from a situation that you don't want, from some adversity that's going to befall you. A loved one's going to die, or a business is going to collapse, or something's going to happen. But the saving grace of that is that you are going to get some wisdom from that situation, which you couldn't get in any other way. No matter how many cold showers and CrossFit workouts you do, you're not going to learn that unless you get thrown in. And it's a very reassuring thing to know when you're facing adversity.
Thanks for checking out this podcast short. If you like this interview, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell so you always get notified about this podcast. And if you're really interested in conversations like this, you may want to consider joining the Articulate Ventures Network. To find out more, go to network.articulate.ventures.